There's something special about a car that makes you want to take the long way home. A car that doesn't just get you from A to B, it pulls you in, challenges you, and rewards you for doing it right. That's a driver's car. It's not about horsepower, it's not about lap times, it's not about who has the flashiest badge or the loudest exhaust. A true driver's car is about feel. It's about that connection between you and the machine, the weight in the steering, the bite of the brakes, the way a gearbox clicks home like it's wired to your hand. It's the satisfaction of mastering a corner, the quiet grin after a perfect heel toe, the heartbeat that syncs with the engine's rhythm. And in 2026, believe it or not, those cars still exist. We live in strange times. Cars are faster than ever, but somehow less involving. Screens replaced gauges, drive modes replaced instinct. We're surrounded by cars that drive themselves, but very few that make us want to drive. Yet, beneath the noise and the marketing, a handful of automakers still get it. They still believe that driving is an art, not a task. They build machines that talk to you, that communicate through the steering wheel, the pedals, the seat of your pants. Cars that remind you that physics, when tuned right, can be poetry. Those are the cars we're celebrating today. This is NextGear's ultimate guide to the 60 best driver's cars you can buy in 2026. From the featherweight roadsters to manual hot hatches, from honest sports sedans to hybrid curve carvers, these are the cars that keep driving fun alive. The ones that still care more about engagement than efficiency. The ones that still let you feel something. Each car on this list was chosen for one reason. It puts the driver first. Not the spec sheet, not the brand image, not even the price tag. If it makes your pulse race on a twisty back road, it's here. We'll go from the lightest, most analog sports cars, like the Miata and the GR86, to the most thrilling hatches in sedans, like the Civic Type R, the Elantra N, and the BMW M2. We'll look at high-performance icons, like the Porsche 911 Carrera T and the Lotus Emira, proof that even in 2026, driver engagement hasn't gone extinct. And yes, we'll even venture into the electrified frontier because, believe it or not, a few EVs have finally started to get it right. They're learning how to bring back the emotion, the responsiveness, the feeling of being in control again. See, the idea of a driver's car has always evolved. Back in the day, it was about simplicity, a small, light chassis and a manual gearbox. Then came the era of precision engineering, cars that blended mechanical excellence with modern control. And now it's about balance, between analog feel and digital intelligence, between speed and soul. The best ones find that sweet spot, the connection that technology can enhance, not replace. If you've ever watched a sunrise from behind a steering wheel, if you've ever turned off the radio just to listen to an engine sing, if you've ever found yourself smiling mid-corner, realizing you're part of the machine, then this video is for you. This isn't a countdown of specs. It's a celebration of sensations, the cars that make us feel alive. Because driving isn't about power, it's about passion. It's about the split second between grip and slide, the perfect shift, the pulse before the apex, the moment where car and driver stop being separate things. And in 2026, despite the touchscreens, despite the emissions rules, despite the AI, it's still out there. The spark is still alive. In Japan, in Germany, in America, in Britain, wherever engineers still build for joy, not just for numbers. So buckle in, turn off the traction control, and get ready. This is the definitive list of the 60 best driver's cars you can buy in 2026. The light, the heavy, the pure, the powerful, and everything in between. Because even as the world moves on, the passion for driving never dies. It just finds new ways to shift gears.
The lightweight purists. There's a rule in driving that never made it into marketing brochures. The lighter a car gets, the louder it talks back to you. Every gram trimmed from the chassis makes another voice in the conversation louder. The tires, the brakes, the steering rack, even the road surface itself. You start to hear things again, the hum of grip, the whisper before understeer, the heartbeat of mechanical life. And that right there is why these 10 machines matter. They aren't about horsepower or screens or bragging rights. They're about rediscovering that sacred dialogue between driver and car, where every move feels earned, every smile unfiltered. Mazda MX-5 Miata ND3, the forever benchmark. People joke that the answer to any automotive question is Miata, and they're not wrong. Mazda's ND3 refresh is proof that evolution doesn't always need revolution. It weighs just a little over 2,300 pounds, less than a modern EV's battery pack. And that 181 horsepower 2-liter engine feels like it was tuned for enthusiasm, not efficiency. The steering remains hydraulic in spirit, if not in hardware. It still has that delicate, self-centering pulse that tells you exactly how much front grip is left. You shift it once and understand why people write love letters to gearboxes. The genius of the Miata isn't that it's fast, it's that it makes normal speeds thrilling. At 45 miles per hour through a set of switchbacks, it feels like you're doing 120. And when the sun's out and the roof's down, it reminds you that joy doesn't come from excess, it comes from balance. Maintenance? Cheap. Tires? Small. Smiles per gallon? Infinite. If the car world ever loses the Miata, we might as well hang up the keys. Toyota GR86, Subaru BRX, the affordable fight club. No car punches above its weight quite like the GR86 and BRX twins. They're honest, rear-wheel drive sports cars that look you dead in the eye and say, "So you think you can drive?" The 2.4-liter flat 4 has cured the torque starvation of the old model. Now it pulls cleanly from mid-range without that "please be patient" moment. 228 horsepower feels like double because the car weighs less than your average crossover's tailgate. The steering is a masterclass in communication. Quick but not twitchy, alive without being nervous. Slide it a little and it'll teach you weight transfer better than any racing school. Owners adore it because it's the rare modern car that still feels analog. Even the traction control system seems to know you're there to learn, not to be scolded. You buy this not to collect compliments, but to collect skill. It's the working-class hero of driver's cars, and that might be its greatest performance stat. Alpine A110, the ghost of lightness past and future. In a world where most sports cars put on gym weight every generation, the Alpine A110 walks in like a ghost from a lighter era. At just over 2,400 pounds, it's almost half the mass of a Porsche 911, and yet it feels every bit as special. The 1.8-liter Turbo 4 might only make 300 horsepower, but its response is as crisp as a race engine. The dual-clutch transmission isn't there for numbers, it's there to keep rhythm with you. Turn-in is instant, the ride supple yet taut, like a ballet dancer who can throw a punch. Drive it fast and it flatters you. Drive it slow and it flatters your surroundings. The Alpine doesn't bully the road, it partners with it. Every ripple and camber becomes choreography. It's a car that whispers, "Feel this." And when you do, you realize speed was never the point. Connection was. Lotus Emira i4, Hydraulic Hope. Lotus has been preaching the gospel of lightness since before hashtags existed. The Emira i4 is the company's farewell love letter to internal combustion, and ironically, its most civilized creation ever. The AMG-sourced 2-liter Turbo 4 makes 360 horsepower, but the real star is the steering. Yes, hydraulic in 2026. One turn of the wheel and you're reminded what modern electric racks took away. The Emira balances precision with patience. It's razor sharp without being punishing. You feel the suspension breathe, the tires flex, the chassis pivot under you. It's an orchestra of feedback that plays better the more you listen. Lotus managed to make a daily drivable car that still feels like a weekend track toy, something few manufacturers dare attempt anymore. It's not perfect, but neither is a Stratocaster. That's what makes it art. Caterham 7420R, the mechanical panic attack. Climb into a Caterham and you start to understand how much modern cars insulate you from physics. Here, there's none of that. A 2-liter Duratec engine pushing 210 horsepower doesn't sound like much until you remember it's hauling just 1,300 pounds. That's motorcycle power-to-weight territory, with the weather as an optional extra. There's no traction control, no ABS, no apology. The throttle is your stability system, the steering wheel, your lifeline. On paper, it's crude. On a road, it's transcendent. Every corner is an act of faith, rewarded by laughter. It's raw, noisy, occasionally terrifying, and absolutely magnificent. A Caterham doesn't make you feel like a hero, it makes you feel alive, which is much rarer. Ariel Atom 4, when air becomes a feature. Some cars flirt with danger. The Ariel Atom 4 moved in and started redecorating. Underneath that exoskeleton sits Honda's 2-liter turbo engine making 320 horsepower in a car lighter than some superbikes. 0 to 60 happens in under 3 seconds, but stats don't prepare you for the sensation. The world doesn't blur, it teleports. Steering inputs feel instantaneous, like you're drawing lines directly onto the tarmac. Yet amid the insanity, there's elegance. The balance is near perfect, the chassis forgiving if you respect it, lethal if you don't. It's less a car, more a physics simulator with license plates. You don't commute in an atom, you confess to it. It's proof that driving fear and driving joy are separated only by confidence. Morgan Super 3, the joy of weird. The Super 3 is proof that fun doesn't need symmetry. 3 wheels, 1 engine, 0 pretension. Its 1.5-liter 3-cylinder from Ford makes just 118 horsepower, but because the whole contraption barely weighs a metric ton, it feels like plenty. The steering is manual, like genuinely manual, and the feedback is so pure, you'll swear the front tires are telepathic. It's the kind of car that turns every errand into a parade. People wave, kids cheer, you start to wonder if you should wear goggles just for the aesthetic. What's it like at speed? Equal parts aircraft and amusement park. The Super 3 doesn't care about lap times, it cares about laughter per mile. And in a market obsessed with seriousness, that makes it revolutionary.
Toyota MR2 2026 Revival, the middleweight messiah.
The mid-engine Toyota is back, and enthusiasts are already forming waiting lists longer than an EV charging queue on Thanksgiving. Leaked specs suggest a lightweight hybrid system paired with a turbocharged 3 or 4-cylinder, making around 250 horsepower. That might not sound radical, but remember, the MR2's magic has always been balance, not brute force. The original taught everyday drivers how to feel like heroes without scaring them to death. The new one aims to do the same, reviving the idea that mid-engine doesn't have to mean mid-crisis. Expect steering tuned by Gazoo Racing, weight around 2,700 pounds, and a focus on feedback over flash. If Toyota nails it, this will be the affordable exotic of the decade, a car that finally brings mid-engine purity back to normal people. Fiat Abarth 124 Spider 2026 relaunch. Fiat's back with 124 Spider, this time with hybrid assist and a bigger attitude problem. It still borrows the Miata's bones, but dresses them in Italian chaos. Angrier exhaust, stiffer suspension, louder everything. The little 1.4-liter Turbo 4 now gets mild hybrid torque feel, making the mid-range punchier without ruining throttle feel. It's still rear drive, still tiny, still prone to oversteer if you sneeze mid-corner. The interior remains charmingly impractical, but that's part of the appeal. It's the kind of car that rewards drama. A heel-toe downshift echoed by a pop from the exhaust, a corner exit punctuated by a grin you can't suppress. It's not the fastest or the most composed, but it's proof that driving passion is still available in espresso size. Mini Cooper JCW 2025 redesign. Mini's latest JCW is a reminder that big fun can still come in small packaging. The 2.0-liter turbo engine delivers 228 horsepower through the front wheels, but torque steer has been tamed, not neutered. The chassis is stiffer, the damping smarter, and the steering feels like it's had caffeine for breakfast. Throw it into a tight corner and it darts in with puppy-like enthusiasm, the rear just hinting at rotation if you lift mid-apex. It's a car that makes even mundane commutes theatrical. The pops from the exhaust aren't childish, they're applause. Sure, it rides firm and the new screen-heavy cabin might offend purists, but the driving feel is still 100% analog mischief. If you can't have fun in a JCW, the problem isn't the car. Every car here is proof that removing weight adds meaning. The lighter a car gets, the more the driver has to matter. And that's what separates a driver's car from a transport device. Lightness teaches discipline. You can't hide behind traction control or torque curves. You have to earn speed. You learn how weight shifts, how grip feels, how patience pays off. It's the opposite of modern excess, a rebellion in sheet metal and steering feel. Where most 2026 cars come with algorithms, these come with intuition. They demand your attention and reward it tenfold. They also remind us that joy and danger share the same DNA. A Miata whispers, a Caterham yells. Both tell the truth, and the truth is addictive. So yes, these cars might lack cup holders, insulation, or rear seats, but they give you something worth more than any luxury feature: clarity. The feeling of knowing exactly what the car is doing, why it's doing it, and that you're the reason it's working.
Hot hatches that still have soul. If the lightweight purists are the monks of driving, serene, minimalist, spiritually connected, then hot hatches are the street preachers. They shout, they swear, they pop, crackle, and torque steer their sermons into the nearest apex. And yet, underneath all that noise, they've always stood for the same thing: democratizing joy. Hot hatches were built on a promise that you didn't need a Ferrari to feel like a hero. All you needed was front-wheel drive, a manual gearbox, and the right road. Even now, in 2026, when hybrids and dual clutches and torque vectoring have become the norm, the best ones still carry that mischievous DNA. They're practical enough to daily, humble enough to park anywhere, and brilliant enough to turn a grocery run into a grin marathon. Let's meet the 10 hatches that kept the faith. Honda Civic Type R, FL5, the king of grip. You can't talk about driver's cars without bowing to the Civic Type R. The FL5 isn't just good for a front-wheel drive car, it's good, period. The 2.0-liter Turbo 4 makes 315 horsepower, sent through a 6-speed manual that's so slick it feels engineered by watchmakers. The steering is hyper-accurate, the chassis unflappable, and the differential could probably pull continents together. What's new for 2026 is subtle refinement. The car has matured, fewer boy racer wings, more focused purpose. It still devours corners, but now it also feels composed at 70 miles per hour on the highway. It's less about shock and awe, more about control. There's a reason enthusiasts call it the best all-around driver's car under $50K. It delivers intensity and precision, all wrapped in a hatchback that still fits a Costco run. It's Honda's love letter to grip, feedback, and glorious manual labor. Hyundai Elantra N, i30N overseas, the people's track car. Hyundai used to be the punchline, now it's writing the jokes. The Elantra N and its hatchback twin, the i30N overseas, is one of the most absurdly fun performance bargains of the decade. 276 horsepower, front-wheel drive, manual or dual clutch, and a personality that makes German engineers bite their lip. It's raucous, loud, borderline unhinged, and that's before you hit the N grin shift button, which adds overboost for 20 seconds of chaos. The steering's alive, the damping is adjustable, and the exhaust pops like it's heckling you. But here's the thing, it's not just loud for the sake of it, there's real substance underneath. Balance, poise, and one of the best electronic LSDs ever fitted to a front driver. It's a car that feels like it was tuned by people who actually like driving, not just analyzing it. The Elantra N doesn't take itself seriously, which is precisely why it should be taken seriously. VW Golf GTI, the gentleman rebel. Every enthusiast's story starts with a GTI. The car that invented the hot hatch is still here, still evolving, and still brilliantly understated. The 2026 facelift fixes what the last one broke, the return of real buttons. Finally, VW listened. You can change your volume without opening a software license agreement. Under the hood, the EA888 2.0-liter Turbo 4 continues its long, glorious run, 241 horsepower of smooth linear thrust. The new 7-speed DSG remains fast but not frantic, and the limited slip differential transforms it from commuter to corner carver. The GTI isn't the loudest or the flashiest, but it's the one that works everywhere. It's refined on Monday, playful on Saturday, and mature enough to convince your spouse it was a sensible purchase. It's less about fireworks, more about finesse, and that's what's kept it relevant for nearly 40 decades. VW Golf R, the winter samurai. If the GTI is the gentleman, the Golf R is the assassin. Same bones, different DNA. The 2.0-liter turbo now pushes 315 horsepower to all four wheels through a clever torque vectoring NWD system that can actually send power sideways. Yes, the 2026 model still has drift mode, and yes, it's still hilariously irresponsible. But what makes the R great isn't its gimmicks, it's its bandwidth. It can go from a snowy commute to a track day without changing its expression. It's calm, composed, and precise, like an athlete in a tailored suit. Sure, it's heavier than the GTI, but it hides its weight well, delivering balance and poise that few all-wheel drive cars manage. If you want all-season capability without sacrificing soul, the Golf R is the hot hatch that never loses its cool. Toyota GR Corolla, the rally runt. If the Civic Type R is the scalpel, the GR Corolla is the sledgehammer. It's not pretty, subtle, or polite. It's fun with dirt still under its fingernails. Under the hood lives a 1.6-liter 3-cylinder turbo. Yes, 3 cylinders, pushing 300 horsepower. That's madness. the kind of engineering insanity only Toyota's Gazoo Racing could justify. All-wheel drive, a 6-speed manual, and 3 adjustable torque split modes let you tailor how sideways you'd like your day to go. It's noisy, twitchy, alive, and genuinely thrilling in ways even modern supercars struggle to match. This is the kind of car that makes you invent excuses to drive. You'll find yourself saying, "I need milk," 5 times a day. The GR Corolla proves that small, weird, and unhinged can still be the most fun things on 4 wheels. Renault Megane RS Ultime, the French finale. Renault Sport is bowing out, and the Megane RS Ultime is its final encore. It's the last dance for one of the most beloved hot hatch bloodlines in history. 300 horsepower, a manual gearbox, 4-wheel steering, and a chassis so fine-tuned it feels psychic. You can practically think it through a corner. It's not delicate, it's aggressive in that typically French way, equal parts flair and fury. The Ultime Edition sharpens everything: quicker steering, firmer suspension, and a limited slip differential that hooks like it's magnetized. There's sadness here, sure, this is the end of Renault Sport as we know it, but what a send-off. It's not just a hot hatch, it's a heritage capsule. And when you nail that perfect backroad rhythm, you can almost hear the ghosts of Clio Williams and R26Rs cheering in approval. Ford Focus ST, the blue-collar boxer. The Focus ST has always been the pub favorite. Cheap thrills, big laughs, small repair bills. The 2026 version refines the formula without diluting it. A 2.3-liter Turbo 4 now pumps out 280 horsepower, still through the front wheels, still with a manual available. Thank the car gods. The steering is hydraulic-like in feel, sharp and honest. It's got torque steer, yes, but the kind that adds character, not chaos. Inside, the Recaro seats hug you tighter than your mistakes, and the car's overall tuning strikes that perfect balance between hooligan and commuter. It's not as polished as a Type R or as exotic as a GR Corolla, but it's got grit, the kind of imperfect charm that keeps it fun long after the honeymoon phase. The Focus ST doesn't try to be clever, it just tries to make every drive a little bit better, and that's more than enough. Mini Cooper GP, the pocket rocket scientist. The GP is Mini's mad experiment, a front-wheel drive car with 300 horsepower and no chill. It's stripped down, loud, and unapologetically stiff. You can feel every pebble on the road and every penny you spent on tires. But when you find the right stretch of tarmac, it's a revelation. The front end bites, the rear dances, and the whole thing feels like a go-kart that went to the gym. There's genuine engineering brilliance here. Massive aluminum suspension components, sticky Michelins, and a chassis that seems to thrive on chaos. It's ridiculous, yes, but gloriously so. The GP isn't trying to be comfortable, it's trying to be memorable, and on that front, it's a resounding success. Peugeot 308 GTI, the forgotten fighter. Peugeot quietly builds some of the best driver's cars nobody buys. The 308 GTI is proof, a car that balances composure and charisma with typical French audacity. The 1.6-liter Turbo 4 cranks out 270 horsepower through the front wheels with minimal drama, thanks to a brilliant Torsen LSD. It's light, communicative, and nimble, a car that rewards smoothness instead of aggression. And while the world obsesses over Golf Rs and Type Rs, this thing just gets on with the job, quietly being amazing. It's the sleeper of the group, the one you underestimate until you leave you behind in a mountain pass. Suzuki Swift Sport Hybrid, the underdog. You weren't expecting this, were you? But if joy per dollar was measurable, the Swift Sport would be priceless. A 1.4-liter mild hybrid engine, 138 horsepower, and a curb weight barely over a ton. That's not much, but it doesn't need to be. It's all about balance, agility, and attitude. The steering is direct, the gearbox slick, and the chassis eager to play. It's a car that makes every roundabout a racetrack. Sure, it's not a monster on paper, but behind the wheel it feels alive, cheeky, energetic, and unfiltered. It's proof that driving fun doesn't have to be expensive. It just has to be honest. Lightweight sports cars may teach you finesse, but hot hatches teach you freedom. They're the working-class heroes of the car world, proof that passion doesn't require pedigree. You can drive them hard, carry your friends, hit the track, and then pick up groceries on the way home. No trailer, no ego, no nonsense. The best hot hatches, Civic Type R, GR Corolla, Golf GTI, all share one thing. They make every driver feel like they belong behind the wheel. They democratize performance without diluting soul. And in an age when cars are either sterile or stupidly expensive, that makes them invaluable.
These are the cars that remind you driving isn't a luxury. It's a privilege worth fighting to keep fun.
Sports sedans that still feel analog. Somewhere along the way, sports sedans forgot who they were. They traded steering feel for touchscreens, hydraulic racks for haptic sliders, and character for calibration. But not all of them. A few stubborn rebels still believe a sedan should be more than a quiet office on wheels. It should be a partner in crime, something you can commute in all week and still trust with your Saturday mornings on the back roads. They carry passengers, sure, but more importantly, they carry soul. These 10 cars prove that 4 doors don't mean 4 yawns. BMW M2, G87, the last of the line. Let's start with the troublemaker. The M2 has always been BMW's middle finger to conformity, and the G87 keeps that spirit alive. Under the hood is the same 3.0-liter twin-turbo straight-six from the M4, detuned slightly to 453 horsepower, but still wild enough to terrify your insurance provider. The key difference? Size and balance. The M2 feels compact, planted, and gloriously rear-driven. The steering's heavy in the right way, meaty, direct, uncorrupted. The chassis dances between grip and oversteer like it's been studying ballet. And yes, there's still a manual transmission because BMW knows enthusiasts aren't ready to move on. It's loud, brash, slightly overbuilt, but behind the wheel, it's magic. The M2 is proof that BMW still remembers what the M used to stand for: mechanical, mischievous, magnificent. Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio, passion with pistons. There's fast, and then there's Italian fast. The Giulia Quadrifoglio is what happens when a brand decides handling should feel like a handshake rather than a spreadsheet. The 2.9-liter twin-turbo V6, co-developed with Ferrari, sings a metallic aria up to 7,000 RPM, 505 horsepower, rear-wheel drive, and steering so alive it practically wiggles with anticipation. The Giulia's balance is surreal, light on its feet, eager to rotate, alive under braking. It's the kind of car that rewards commitment and punishes laziness. Is it perfect? No. Electronics still glitch occasionally, and alpha build quality is artistic. But the trade-off is personality. The Giulia doesn't just move you, it moves like you. It's one of those rare sedans that feels like a sports car when you're alone and a luxury car when you're not. You don't just drive it, you fall for it. Cadillac CT4V Blackwing, the American stick-shift dream. If you ever feared manuals were dying, Cadillac clearly didn't get the memo. The CT4V Blackwing is a love letter to the old school, supercharged with 21st century precision. It packs a twin-turbo 3.6-liter V6 pushing 472 horsepower through a 6-speed manual. The steering is surgical, the chassis beautifully neutral, and the magnetic suspension seems to read the road's mind. Cadillac built this car for people who still care, people who heel-toe for fun, not because a computer told them to. It's brutal on a track and refined on a highway, a rare blend of aggression and composure. And when you realize it's built in America by a company better known for chrome and comfort, it becomes even cooler. The CT4V Blackwing isn't just a great driver's car, it's a cultural statement. America can do precision too. Lexus IS 500 F-Sport Sleeper Samurai. You know that friend who's quiet at parties but secretly bench presses 300 pounds? That's the Lexus IS 500. It looks calm, restrained, even polite, until you press the starter. Then a 5.0-liter V8 clears its throat and the world changes color. 472 horsepower, rear-wheel drive, and a soundtrack that belongs in a concert hall. It's not the sharpest or lightest sedan here, but it doesn't care. It's a celebration of excess done tastefully. The steering's communicative, the chassis honest, and the balance perfect for fast road driving. No fake noise, no digital filters, just 8 cylinders singing their goodbye hymn to an era of analog fury. You buy an IS 500 because you know what's ending and you want to be there to hear the last note. Accurate TLX Type S, the quiet achiever. Acura's been the underdog of the performance world for years, quietly building machines that prioritize feel over fame. The TLX Type S continues that legacy with understated excellence.
Its 3.0-liter turbo V6 produces 355 horsepower. But the story isn't the power, it's the tuning. The super-handling all-wheel drive system doesn't just keep you safe, it actively helps you carve corners like a surgeon. Steering is sharp, response instant, and the car always feels a size smaller than it looks. It walks that fine line between taut and tolerable, making it perfect for both daily drives and spontaneous detours. It may not shout as loud as an M3 or roar like a Giulia, but the TLX Type S nails the subtle art of confidence. It's the grown-up driver's car, one that doesn't need to prove anything because it already can. Kia Stinger GT, the cult classic. The Stinger GT might be bowing out soon, but what a legacy it leaves behind. It proved that a brand once mocked for minivans could build a genuine grand touring weapon. The twin-turbo 3.3-liter V6, good for 368 horsepower, delivers thrust that's instant and addictive. The steering, refined by former BMW M engineers, feels alive. The chassis balance is neutral and predictable, but yet playful when provoked. What makes the Stinger special isn't just how it drives, it's what it represents. It's the outsider that earned respect on merit alone. Rear-wheel drive, hatchback practicality, and timeless proportions. In 2026, it's already a future classic, a car enthusiasts will whisper about when everything else goes electric. Genesis G7 3.3T, the gentleman athlete. If the Stinger is the rebellious sibling, the G7 is the one that wears a suit to the same bar. But don't be fooled, under the tailored body lies the same athletic heart. The 3.3-liter twin-turbo V6 pumps out 365 horsepower, mated to an exquisitely tuned chassis. Genesis spent real money making it feel right, balanced, responsive, and composed. The steering is clean, the feedback genuine, and the power delivery creamy smooth. Inside, it's a mini luxury cocoon that still knows how to dance. The G7 is the perfect antidote to soulless German sedans, proof that luxury and driver engagement can coexist without pretension. It's not loud about its talent, it just quietly nails every detail. BMW M3 G80, the split personality genius. Let's get this out of the way. Yes, the grille is controversial, but if you can get past the nostrils, you'll find one of the most complete driver's cars of the modern age. The M3's 3.0-liter twin-turbo straight-six produces 473 horsepower in manual form or 503 with xDrive. It's brutally fast, endlessly adjustable, and shockingly capable. But what makes it great isn't the speed, it's adaptability. It can go from docile cruiser to tire-shredding maniacal with a flick of a switch. And in manual form, it still rewards skill with mechanical precision. The steering feel isn't what it was a decade ago, but the car's feedback through balance and traction is uncanny. It's heavy, yes, but it hides its mass with sheer engineering brilliance. The M3 may have grown up, but it hasn't lost its sense of humor. Dodge Charger Daytona EV, the electric muscle twist. Yes, it's electric. Yes, it's heavy. But shockingly, it works. The new Charger Daytona manages to bring back emotion to EV performance. With 670 horsepower in RT Scat Pack trim and a simulated multi-gear transmission, it feels more like a brawler than a blender. The Fratzonic chambered exhaust, yes, that's its real name, pumps out a digitally engineered roar that's actually convincing. More importantly, the car moves with intent, balanced for an EV, surprisingly communicative, and brutally quick. No, it's not analog, but it captures the attitude of analog muscle. It's not pretending to be an old-school V8, it's reinterpreting the idea of driving theater for a new generation. And somehow, that makes it worthy of being on this list. Subaru Works RX TR, the last manual rally sedan. Subaru's new Works TR might be the last of its breed, a turbocharged, all-wheel drive sedan built for drivers, not algorithms. The TR trim finally fixes what enthusiasts begged for: sharper suspension, better brakes, and a proper Recaro seat that doesn't feel like it was lifted from a couch. The 2.4-liter Boxer engine still punches out 271 horsepower, but the real joy comes from how it delivers it. There's lag, there's shove, there's mechanical drama. All the stuff automakers seem to be deleting these days. And yes, it still comes with a 6-speed manual. It's imperfect, noisy, and a bit old school. That's exactly why it deserves to be here. The Works TR isn't a car for everyone. It's for the people who still listen to turbo spool like music. Sedans are supposed to be sensible. That's what makes the great ones rebellious. They blend responsibility with recklessness. 4 doors for life, 4 tires for living. You can bring friends, family, luggage, excuses, and still find your joy halfway through a corner. The best sports sedans, M2, Giulia, CT4V, IS500, all share one DNA strand. They trust the driver. They don't hide the car's behavior behind layers of software. They invite you to participate in it. They prove that analog isn't dead, it just wears a suit now.
Modern supercars that still care about drivers. There was a time when supercars were savage. They didn't care about your comfort, your spine, or your dignity. You drove them because you wanted a fight. But as technology smoothed every rough edge, something was lost. The chaos, the connection, the sense that you were barely in control. Thankfully, a few supercars in 2026 still remember that driving is supposed to make your palms sweat. They mix modern engineering with old-school theater, machines that obey physics only out of respect, not fear. Let's meet the 10 that still make you feel human behind the wheel. Porsche 911 GT3 Touring 992.2, purity on 4 wheels. Porsche's GT division is essentially a cult at this point, and the GT3 Touring is its purest sermon. The 4.0-liter naturally aspirated flat-six spins to 9,000 RPM, each note razor clean, no turbos, no filters. The 6-speed manual connects you directly to the car's nervous system. The shifter feels milled from guilt-free perfection. Everything about the GT3 Touring is tactile. The hydraulic steering's delicate chatter, the clutch's weight, the seat bolsters squeezing you mid-corner. It's fast, 502 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds, but the magic isn't in the numbers, it's in how you earn them. No flashy wing, no flex, just grip, geometry, and grace. The Touring isn't trying to impress Instagram, it's trying to impress you. Chevrolet Corvette E-Ray, America learns elegance. The E-Ray is the first electrified Corvette, and somehow it manages to be both futuristic and familiar. Behind your head sits a 6.2-liter L2 V8 with 495 horsepower. On the front axle, a 160-horsepower electric motor. Together, 655 horsepower and all-wheel drive that makes 0 to 60 vanish in 2.5 seconds. But the brilliance isn't just speed, it's balance. The E-Ray still feels like a Corvette. Big-lunged, slightly mischievous, willing to wag its tail if you ask politely. The hybrid assist fills torque gaps without muting the soundtrack, and the instant front axle pulls sharpens turn-in like a scalpel. It's not an EV gimmick, it's evolution. The most refined Corvette ever built that still growls like it's made of gasoline and bravado. McLaren Artera, the scientist that still smiles. The Artera was McLaren's reset button, a hybrid that dared to feel analog. The 3.0-liter twin-turbo V6 and electric motor combined for 671 horsepower, yet the car's core remains carbon, lightness, and feedback. What shocks most drivers isn't the silence at low speed, it's how alive it feels once the turbo's light. The steering remains hydraulic, old school, heavy, and full of micro-feedback. The chassis dances, the car doesn't so much corner as flow. McLaren learned something others forgot. Electrons don't have to kill emotion. When you floor it, you get the instant torque of the future with the heartbeat of a Lotus. The Artera proves that hybridization doesn't have to mean isolation. It can mean amplification. Ferrari 296 GTB, V6 with a V12 soul. Ferrari's mid-engine identity crisis ended the moment the 296 arrived. A 3.0-liter V6 with twin turbos and a 164-horsepower E-motor may sound modest, but together they produce 819 horsepower and telepathic throttle response. What matters isn't the number, it's the feeling. The engine sings in 3 dimensions. The power delivery is instant, elastic, alive. Ferrari steering remains the industry benchmark.
hyper-quick yet never nervous. Driving the 296 GTB feels like chasing the horizon while tethered to a metronome of precision. Every input yields instant consequence. It's a car that loves to be driven properly. Lift mid-corner and it talks back. Brake late and it rewards your faith. It's the rare supercar that's both genius and generous. Lamborghini Huracan Technica, the opera before silence. The Technica is Lamborghini's farewell ballad to the V10. 631 horsepower, naturally aspirated, 8,500 RPM of defiance. What makes it special isn't just the numbers, it's the purity of experience. No turbos, minimal hybrid trickery, and a throttle response sharper than your morning espresso. The Technica bridges road and track, rear-wheel drive, rear steer, and a chassis tuned for rhythm, not fear. It's raw, mechanical, borderline theatrical. The steering has weight, the gearbox feels sculpted, and every downshift is a reminder that art can burn fuel. When the era of electrics drowns in silence, the Technica's last scream will echo longest. Aston Martin AMR, the manual that wouldn't die. Aston Martin could have gone automatic only like everyone else, but they didn't. The Aston Martin AMR exists purely to keep the manual alive in a world that forgot how to shift. A 4.0-liter twin-turbo V8 from AMG, 503 horsepower, rear drive, and a 7-speed stick with the dogleg first gear. It's not the fastest, but it's one of the most satisfying cars you'll ever row. The gearbox rewards precision, punishes laziness, and makes you part of the process. The steering feels organic, the chassis playful, and the sound, half thunder, half theater. Driving it fast feels like handwriting in ink. Every line personal, every mistake permanent. The AMR reminds us that connection matters more than perfection. Maserati MC20, the return of Italian courage. After years of building sleepy grand touring, Maserati woke up angry. The MC20 isn't just a comeback, it's a declaration of relevance. A 3.0-liter twin-turbo V6 called Nettuno delivers 621 horsepower and one of the most distinctive soundtracks in the business. The chassis, made of carbon fiber, is light and poised. The gearbox bangs through shifts like a snare drum. But the biggest surprise is how usable it is. The MC20 isn't a diva. It's composed at city speeds, feral when provoked. It corners with precision, not violence, and still feels analog despite the digital interface. It's the rebirth of the Italian wildcard, the one that doesn't need perfection to make your heart race. Lotus Emira, the last true Lotus. Before Lotus goes electric, it gave us one last masterpiece, the Emira. Think of it as a farewell handshake to the analog world. A 3.5-liter supercharged V6 or 2.0-liter turbo from AMG, a manual option, rear-wheel drive, and balance so perfect it could teach yoga. The Emira isn't about power, it's about proportion. The steering is hydraulic, the chassis alive, and the weight distribution near flawless. Every corner feels like choreography, every shift a conversation. It's small, precise, and utterly human. If you ever wonder what driver's car really means, drive an Emira before it's too late. Nissan GT-R T-Spec, the veteran still fighting. Yes, it's ancient, yes, it's heavy, and yes, it's still brilliant. The GT-R T-Spec is proof that some legends age like whiskey, hot, harsh, and satisfying. 565 horsepower from the hand-built VR38 DTET V6, all-wheel drive tuned by witchcraft, and launch control that could shame a space program. But the real story is how tactile it remains. The GT-R still talks, through vibrations, through drivetrain hum, through the occasional chassis shudder. It's a mechanical car, unapologetically so. You drive it with muscle memory and respect. It still scares amateurs, still humbles pros. Every GT-R feels alive, like it's daring you to find its limits. Ferrari 812 Competizione, the last of the V12s. If the 296 is Ferrari's future, the 812 Competizione is its swan song. A 6.5-liter naturally aspirated V12 that revs to 9,500 RPM. No turbo, no hybrid, just mechanical ecstasy. The 812 is intimidating, demanding, and completely intoxicating. You don't drive it fast until you've earned its trust. It'll bite if you're lazy.
But once you sync with it, it becomes transcendental, like piloting passion itself. The Competizione isn't just a car, it's a cathedral to combustion. Supercars have become smarter, cleaner, safer, but the ones above prove they haven't all gone soft. They remind us that performance without participation is just a statistic. A real driver's supercar doesn't shield you from sensation, it invites you into it. It lets you feel the weight shift, the grip fade, the engine pulse through your spine. Whether it's a GT3 Touring humming with purity or a 296 GTB humming with electric venom, the goal is the same: connection. Because when the machines get too smart, the drivers get forgotten. And if there's one thing these supercars still understand, it's that driving should never feel like a download. It should feel like art.
Sports coupes and roadsters that still make you feel alive. When the world went chasing SUVs and EVs, the two-door sports car quietly became an act of rebellion. These are the machines that exist purely to remind us why we fell in love with driving in the first place. They don't care how practical they are. They don't apologize for being indulgent. They just want to move you, literally and emotionally. These are the cars for people who still believe a road is better than a destination. 1. Mazda MX-5 Miata, the eternal truth. Let's start where it always starts, the Miata. For over 30 years, it's been the answer to every question about driving joy. In 2026, it's lighter, stiffer, and purer than ever, still rocking a naturally aspirated 2.0-liter inline-4 with a manual gearbox that feels like it's sculpted by angels. The MX-5 doesn't need horsepower, 181 of them is plenty. It's about rhythm, weight transfer, steering feel, throttle modulation. The car communicates everything like a trusted dance partner. Every corner is an invitation, every downshift a conversation, and when you finally nail that perfect line through a bend, the Miata grins with you. It's proof that the formula never needed fixing, small, simple, and sincere. Nissan Z, the classic reinvented. Few cars carry as much heritage in their sheet metal as the Nissan Z. The 2026 Z builds on over 50 years of lineage with the familiar philosophy: front engine, rear drive, manual available, and sole mandatory. A 3.0-liter twin-turbo V6 pumps out 400 horsepower, enough to make the rear tires nervous and your heart happy. The gearbox is mechanical, the clutch perfectly weighted, and the view down that long hood is pure nostalgia. It's not the sharpest in the class, but it oozes personality. Every drive feels cinematic, every shift like flipping a page in a decades-long story. The Z is less about perfection, more about presence. It's the kind of car that makes you slow down, not because you have to, but because you want to. BMW M2 manual, the compact berserker. Yes, it's technically a coupe and we already saw it in the sedan section, but the M2 earns a double mention. Because when it comes to driver engagement, few modern machines deliver such brute force fun. The 3.0-liter twin-turbo inline-6, 453 horsepower, rear drive, and a 6-speed manual make for a perfect cocktail of madness. The short wheelbase means the car always feels alive, twitchy, eager, unfiltered. You don't steer it so much as manage it. It's part muscle, part mischief, and all BMW M spirit. The M2 proves that in the right size with the right weight, power can be personal. Ford Mustang GT, dark horse, the last roar. Every generation has its last cowboy, and for this era, it's the Mustang Dark Horse. The Coyote 5.0 V8 now makes 500 horsepower, paired with a 6-speed Tremec manual, the kind of gearbox that makes you grin just resting your hand on it. It's loud, it's brash, and it absolutely refuses to apologize for existing. The steering's precise, the chassis balanced enough to surprise you, and the sound, thunderous poetry. Yes, it's heavy, yes, it drinks like a sailor, but it's authentic. The Dark Horse isn't trying to be polite. It's trying to be remembered. It's America's mechanical middle finger to a world obsessed with range anxiety. Toyota Supra manual. Redemption earned. When Toyota brought back the Supra, enthusiasts complained. Too much BMW, they said, not enough soul. Then came the manual version, and everything changed. The 3.0-liter inline-6 co-developed with BMW feels tailor-made for this car. It's smooth, torquey, and perfectly paired to the new 6-speed gearbox. Suddenly, the Supra became human. The steering is tight, the handling crisp, and the chassis alive under pressure. It's a car that finally remembers what the badge stands for: driver satisfaction, not spec sheets. Now it's not just fast, it's faithful. The Supra is proof that sometimes manufacturers really do listen. Alpine A1180R, the ballet dancer. You can't talk about driver's cars without mentioning the Alpine A110, the modern-day Lotus Elise in a tuxedo. The Alpine A1180R, the track-focused version, is all about precision and weight. 1,182 kilograms. That's it. Combine that with a mid-mounted Turbo 4 and you get a car that doesn't drive, it glides. Every input is instant, every correction is microfine. The steering feels like it's wired straight to your cerebellum. In corners, it feels supernatural, alive, elastic, always in motion. And yet it's forgiving, approachable, endlessly enjoyable. The Alpine doesn't chase horsepower wars, it chases feeling, and it wins, every time. Porsche 718 Cayman GTS 4.0, the balanced genius. You can't build a list of great driver's cars without a mid-engine Porsche. The 718 Cayman GTS 4.0 is the sweet spot. No turbos, no hybrids, just harmony. 394 horsepower from a 4-liter flat 6, a 6-speed manual, and balance so divine that it feels preordained. The Cayman doesn't overwhelm you, it teaches you. Every lap, every corner, every correction makes you better. The steering is clairvoyant, the suspension compliant yet communicative, and the sound a metallic snarl that climbs to 7,800 RPM like a prayer. The GTS 4.0 is Porsche's proof that purity can coexist with precision. It's the driver's middle ground, refined chaos in a perfectly weighted package. Jaguar F-Type R75, the elegy of emotion. The F-Type R75 is the final bow for Jaguar's ICE sports car, and it exits the stage with grace and thunder. A supercharged 5.0-liter V8 delivering 567 horsepower, an exhaust node that shakes glass, and styling that could make marble brush. It's part muscle car, part art installation. The steering is hydraulic, the throttle instant, the car constantly reminding you that beauty and brutality can share a chassis. Sure, it's flawed. It's old school, thirsty, and occasionally temperamental, but it's alive. The F-Type doesn't care about data or drag coefficients. It's here to make you feel something. And in a world of silent performance, that's worth every gallon and every grin. BMW Z4 M40i, the grown-up roadster. The Z4 M40i lives in the shadow of the Supra, but it doesn't need to compete. It's a grand touring with just enough mischief baked in to qualify as a driver's toy. 382 horsepower, rear-wheel drive, and a chassis tuned for balance rather than drama. The steering is sharp, the suspension taut, and the Turbo 6 smooth as silk. Drop the top, find a twisting road, and you realize this isn't a poser's convertible. It's a proper driver's roadster, mature, composed, but still eager to dance when provoked. The Z4 is less about chaos, more about connection, a reminder that open-air driving can still stir the soul without breaking your back. There's something beautifully selfish about a two-seater. It's a rejection of practicality, a declaration that joy can be personal. Coupes and roadsters are time machines. They take us back to when driving wasn't about efficiency, it was about escape. They make traffic tolerable and back roads sacred. From the Miata's simplicity to the Cayman's sophistication, they all share one truth. The most rewarding cars aren't the fastest, they're the most communicative. They remind us that driving, when done right, isn't transportation, it's therapy. Noisy, tactile, imperfect therapy. And in 2026, when silence and software dominate, that's worth every gallon and every grin.
Track toys and homologation heroes. There's fast, and then there's focused. Track cars aren't about luxury or long drives. They're about discipline, precision, and violence wrapped in carbon fiber. They exist for that single moment when physics stops being a rule and becomes a suggestion. These are the machines that treat every straight like a breather, every corner like confession. The ones that don't just measure your lap time, they measure your nerve. Let's meet the cars that don't just perform, they demand participation. Porsche 911 GT3 RS 992, the apex authority. Let's start with the undisputed benchmark. The 911 GT3 RS isn't a car anymore, it's a mechanical religion. A 4.0-liter naturally aspirated flat 6 that revs to 9,000 RPM, 518 horsepower, and an aero package that looks like it escaped from Le Mans. Every vent, flap, and winglet has purpose. Nothing's there for show. The steering is telepathic, the brakes feel supernatural, and the downforce, a staggering 900 kilograms at speed, makes corners feel like physics experiments. It's not comfortable, it's not forgiving, it's perfect. Drive it hard and it doesn't flatter you, it educates you. Every input must be deliberate, every correction earned. It's not about going fast, it's about being worthy of the speed. Mercedes-AMG GT Black Series, the sledgehammer surgeon. If the Porsche GT3 RS is finesse, the AMG GT Black Series is ferocity in a lab coat. The 4.0-liter twin-turbo flat-plane crank V8 makes 720 horsepower, but the car's secret weapon is how precisely that violence is delivered. Every throttle input feels like the detonation of intent, brutal but exact. The aero is active, the suspension adjustable, and the rear wing could probably file taxes with the amount of intelligence it has. It's a car that feels like it was built by people who got tired of losing Nürburgring lap records to Porsches, and they succeeded, briefly. The GT Black Series is loud, unapologetic, and utterly intense. If a GT3 RS is a scalpel, this is a carbon fiber broadsword wielded by a surgeon with a death wish. Lamborghini Huracan STO, chaos with discipline. Lamborghini finally went from excess to excellence with the STO. It's the same V10 as the Technica, but the STO trades theater for telemetry. Rear-wheel drive, 631 horsepower, magnesium wheels and brakes that feel like anchors dropped from space. It's loud, raw, and surprisingly communicative. Yes, a Lamborghini that talks back. The chassis feedback is extraordinary, the aero real, and the grip relentless. Yet it never loses its Italian absurdity. The drama still there, just channeled. The STO is the ultimate track day extrovert. It will scare you, but it'll make sure you're laughing while it does. Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 1LE, Detroit discipline. Who said muscle cars can't handle? The ZL1 1LE is proof that GM engineers are as serious about grip as they are about horsepower. 650 horsepower from a supercharged V8, a 6-speed manual, Multimatic DSSV dampers street from racing, and aero that actually works. It's huge, loud, and brutally effective. No car at its price point feels this composed on track, or this unhinged on a back road. It's physical, demanding, and satisfying in the most American way possible. It might not be delicate, but it's honest. And when you nail a lap in it, you feel like you have tamed chaos itself. BMW M4 CSL, the cold-blooded purist. CSL stands for Coupe, Sport, Lightbow. Coupe, Sport, Lightweight. But in BMW language, it also means stop whining and drive harder. 543 horsepower, rear-wheel drive, and 240 pounds lighter than the regular M4. Gone are the rear seats. Gone is subtlety. In their place, stiffness, precision, and focus. The steering is surgical, the chassis balanced like a gymnast, and the grip endless. It's demanding. It punishes mistakes and rewards commitment. BMW didn't build this for comfort. They built it for cornering G-forces that rearrange your priorities. Toyota GR Yaris Y GRMN, the pocket monster. Proof that you don't need 6 figures to feel like a hero. The GR Yaris is small, angry, and absolutely obsessed with traction. A turbocharged 3-cylinder making up to 300 HP in GRMN spec, all-wheel drive, and a rally-bred chassis that makes every commute feel like Monte Carlo. The steering is alive, the gear shift perfect, and the car dances through corners with the grace of a caffeinated squirrel. It's compact insanity at its finest, a homologation car that wears a hatchback shell just to mess with physics. Driving one feels like being 18 again, reckless, fearless, and addicted to the next corner. Honda Civic Type R S track package, the front-wheel freak. Front-wheel drive shouldn't work this well. The Civic Type R S with its stripped-down setup and Michelin Cup 2 tires demolishes that assumption. It's front drive, yes, but you'd never guess it from behind the wheel. The differential, suspension geometry, and aero combine to make it corner with supernatural grip. Every lap feels like witchcraft. You brake late, turn in harder, and it just sticks. The steering is talkative, the shifter slick, and the brakes relentless. It's the kind of car that embarrasses supercars at track days while you sit there air-conditioned and unbothered. Radical SR10 XXR, the purest track drug. Forget road manners, forget Bluetooth. The Radical SR10 is what happens when engineers decide to remove everything except adrenaline. A turbocharged 2.3-liter Ford EcoBoost tuned to 425 horsepower in a car that weighs 1,200 pounds. That's right, 1,200 pounds. It accelerates like a fighter jet and corners like a nervous thought. It's not beautiful, it's brutal. Driving it fast isn't relaxing, it's a religious experience with tire smoke for incense. KTM Expo GT XR, the street-legal prototype. Austria's gift to madmen. The Expo GT XR looks like a Le Mans car that escaped the paddock. A 2.5-liter turbo 5-cylinder from Audi makes 500 horsepower in a body made entirely of carbon. You sit inches from the ground, steering wheel in hand, feeling every pebble, every gust, every heartbeat. The experience is overwhelming, sensory, intense, and absolutely magnificent. There's no comfort, no compromise, no curtain between you and the machinery. It's not just a car, it's a declaration of intent. I didn't come here to drive slow. Porsche Cayman GT4 RS, the perfect middle child. The GT4 RS is Porsche's gift to purists who think the 911 GT3 is too big or too polite. The same 4-liter flat 6 from the GT3 now screams behind your head. 493 horsepower at 9,000 RPM. It's compact, vicious, and endlessly rewarding. The air intakes sit right by your ears, so every throttle input sounds like inhaling velocity. It's balanced, agile, and borderline telepathic. Every corner becomes a canvas, every lap a conversation. If the GT3 RS is the masterclass, the GT4 RS is the private lesson, intimate, personal, and unforgettable. Track toys don't care if you're comfortable. They care if you're connected. They strip away insulation, luxury, and distraction until all that's left is driver and machine, a feedback loop of speed and trust. They're not built for traffic lights or car meets. They're built for focus, for rhythm, for that perfect lap where everything aligns. Cars like the GT3 RS, GR Yaris, and GT4 RS prove that technology can enhance feedback, not erase it. That driving hard isn't just about aggression, it's about honesty. Because on a track, you can't fake skill. You can only learn it one corner at a time.
And that's it, a celebration of what it means to truly drive. Not about speed or specs, but the connection between you, the car, and the road. Because in a world built to drive itself, choosing to take the wheel is the purest joy of all.